Alright, we should be going live right about now. Yeah, clean up my chair a little bit. Chair stool. It's the same thing, right? Hey guys, Huck here. If you are watching this in the future, this is a live stream review of the JetBlaster Gen 2 Katana mags. They're not technically called Gen 2, which is why I didn't say that in the description or in the title. But basically Gen 2, the clear versions. We're going to see about these. I'm going to try, this might be a long video, but I'm going to try my best to give my review of it in the first 10 minutes is my goal. And then the rest of the video is going to be dedicated to discussions and further in-depth reviews on this system. So that's the goal. So you won't have to watch the whole video, because I'm assuming this is going to be a long video. Generally, the live streams are. But at the same time, I'm not going to ignore my audience just because this is a live stream and that's how we do things here. So let's get on with it. Austin, what's going on? Homely, how's it going, man? Dang, about to take a nap. You can take one in a second. This should be pretty boring of a review, I think. Your NF Strike order just shipped. That's good. Hi. What's going on, Gary, Jacob? How's it going, people? So, we have our Gen 2, as I call them, Katana mags. Gen 2, even though they're not really next generation, they're just kind of different colors. But that's okay. Doing well. Got my BSP parts in. Sweet. That's good. So, I ordered 10 of these clear mags, the same as I ordered with the Gen 1s. For ease of use, the only real difference should be the color. But for ease of reference, this is Gen 1, this is Gen 2. So, virtually identical. Same molds, obviously. They're not going to spend more money on molds unnecessarily. And even if they were going to, you know Jet, that would take them at least 10 months. Supposedly these shipped on the 30th, but I got notified yesterday, and they arrived today. So, still some communication errors from Jet, but whatever. Springs appear to be the same. Not going to even bother measuring them. I don't see why they would be any different. Apartment flooded. Well, that's not good. I hope you worked that out, man. Dang. Do you have flood insurance? So, I don't want to put my foot in my mouth, but I'm going to anyway. Keep in mind, I haven't done a whole lot of research into this, so I'm kind of speaking out of my ass here, but I'm pretty sure I'm the first person to do a review on the Gen 2 mags that hasn't been shipped one for free. I think. It's very likely that that is not true. So, do not take my word for that. But, in any case, at the very least, this is another unbiased review that is out there. Supposedly, they have been lubricated better. I've already lubricated all of these mags. I've lubricated this magwell. Not the actual magwell, but this right here is incredibly wonky on arrival. So I noticed on these, they're a little bit better. Significantly better than these guys. So they definitely have some sort of lubricant in there. And if I actually look in there, I'm hoping that's lubricant and not stress marks. I'm pretty sure, yeah, that's lubricant. So there is lubricant in these. However, it looks like they just kind of lubricated the side right here, and I'll have to open it up to do more of an inspection, but it doesn't feel like they lubricated everything. It doesn't feel like they lubricated the pivot or the actual interaction between the lever and the release itself. Hey Jason, what's going on? So it's significantly better than this, but after I've lubricated this is still noticeably better than this guy right here. This kind of feels mushy, and especially on the release back, it feels like it's taking its time. Where this guy feels very smooth, very snappy, and very little friction. There's still resistance from the spring, but very little friction. what lube did you use? I just used silicone grease. I know that's not the best because it's not a dry, not a dry whatever, but I don't drop my mags anyway, so I'm not 100% worried about it. Supposedly dry lube is better, but I genuinely don't know. I'm probably not the best person to be asking. So one thing I noticed that one of these, and I think I can tell just by looking at it, I think this one doesn't release as well. Maybe it's this one. It's this one. So I don't know what it is, but this feels a little more stiff going in. I don't know if that's just barely not trimmed enough. But I have to apply a noticeable amount of force, and then this isn't as smooth on there. It's getting a little bit better since I first started with it. But this one goes in noticeably smoother. And then this one kind of gets a little bit hung up there. So I'm not 100% sure what that is. But this is one good reason to have a decent sample size is most people were just getting one of these. And they're like, oh, they lube them so much better and everything is so perfect. And, well, you don't really have anything else to compare to, or at least you're not comparing it to there. So improved, not perfect. I might go back and try to trim whichever one of these is a little bit later, or just lube it, see if that helps at all. So yeah, better, still not 100% perfect, but I don't expect that to be perfect, to be perfectly honest. No pun intended. I don't drop my mags either, yeah, right. So we're going to go through this. I've already done this, so I already know what I'm expecting. But packaging is all the same, by the way. Smooth, much better. For the record, these ones were not lubricated at all. Self-lubricating them, me lubricating these, is still better than the best one of these, just for the record. But it's not really noticeable unless you have them like right next to each other and you're feeling it. So that's not too much of an issue. But here's where the issue is. This one's fine. This one's good. It's hard to convey it on camera, though. You kind of have to feel it. This one's okay. This one's good. That one needs more lubricant. That one's not bad, but that one could get stuck. That one definitely needs more lubricant. That one has almost no lubricant and would probably get stuck. Like that. That one's good. Yeah, that's fine. That one's almost no lubricant as well. Whoops. Starting to drop mags here. Oh, that one just ripped out of my hands. That one had so little lubricant. I was full on gripping that. It just ripped out of my hands because I went down too fast. Especially like right here for some reason. It's always like right here. I think it's because the clips are right there and that's where it's getting the most pressure. That really wants to stop up there. That's probably the worst one so far. This one's good. This one's fine, but it's a little dry down here. Maybe a little dry up here. Actually, this one could use a little lubricant too. It's not nearly as bad as some of the other ones, but that one could use some lubricant. And then this one could use a little more. Again, not the worst, but it could use a little lubricant. So, I didn't count, but that's roughly like 70%, 60%, somewhere on there, that need lubricant. So that's pretty terrible. That's kind of unacceptable. Especially when this is the people that this is targeting, that's kind of unacceptable. Excuse me. You're going to lubricate them anyway. But it'd be nice to have these usable out of the box. Right now, I consider these unusable out of the box, especially with some of these. Now, you could get lucky, and maybe you'll have all of the ones that are... That's not one. Maybe you'll get all the... That's not one either. I'm not doing this on purpose. I thought they were the beginning ones. Apparently not. There. You might get lucky and get the good ones, and you'll never notice an issue. But even the good ones could still use lubrication. Just for consistency's sake, I'm going to lubricate all of them. What I do is I take a swab with silicone grease. Probably not the best method, but I just take it, put it on the outside, and then run up and down these right here, because that's where all of the contact comes in. These are the only real thing that's coming into contact with it. And then I just leave it like that, and that ends up working good. So I will lubricate all of these, including all of these. So basically, I'm going to have to do the exact same amount of work that I'm going to do on the Gen 1s. Because I'm not comfortable with leaving this in the state that it's in. I'm not even comfortable with leaving these in the state that it's in. So there's really no... They might as well not have lubricated them, in my opinion. I was really, really happy when I heard that they lubricated these, but they didn't lubricate all of them for some reason. Or maybe they just got lucky, to be perfectly honest, with the numbers that I'm getting here. So, as far as I'm concerned, this gets the exact same rating as these got. It's just kind of, do you like the clear? Now, personally, I love the clear. Look how freaking amazing that looks. But in terms of like an actual review that's not objective or subjective, not my opinion, because the looks are just opinion. These kind of get the same review as these. If you're into short lengths, these are definitely worth getting. But if you already have these and these colors don't really do anything for you, there's no reason to get them, which kind of didn't need to be said. But found 50 comments. So that pretty much does it for the actual review. We're coming in at right about 12 minutes. So if you're watching this in the future, that's pretty much where the video is going to end. But we're obviously not going to end this. If you feel like watching, thank you. But if not, I completely understand. So I'm now realizing that I can't actually see how many people are viewing because my camera's off. So give me 1 second. I'll be right back. There we go. That's better. So now it's time for a little bit of discussion. Any questions about these, go ahead and start asking them now. I'll fit this into the blaster. I'll load up some rounds, etc., etc. There are rumors that these are supposedly... I can actually see lubricant in this one. So if you wanted dry lubricant, you might actually be in trouble because there is noticeable lubricant in some of these. This one. Actually, that's it. These two. And then the other ones are dry. So if you want a dry lube, you'll have to take them apart completely and clean them, or find a way to get something in there to clean them or whatever. But anyway, there are rumors that these are polycarbonate, and I have absolutely no way of testing that. I'm inclined to believe that they're not, just because of how expensive that is compared to normal injection molding. I'm inclined not to believe that. But I don't have any proof that it's not. So I'm not going to outright say it. The only way for me to actually prove if this is polycarbonate or not that I know how to do is to physically destroy this. And I'm not willing to do that. Polycarbonate will bubble before it starts to deform. Or it's about the same temperature. So it might start drooping and then it will start bubbling. But basically polycarbonate is put under a lot of pressure so that it doesn't bubble up when you're casting it, because there's some voids in there. So when you heat it back up, it expands those voids. And it's kind of inconvenient. It's not really susceptible to thermoforming. But that's the only way I know how to test. And I'm not willing to destroy one of these. So I can't say whether they're polycarbonate or not. Sorry. Let's see. Would white lithium grease work for those? I would not recommend it because white lithium grease is going to show up. Maybe for these, but you're still going to see it. I still wouldn't. That's probably a little too thick, in my opinion. I would specifically go out and get silicone grease. Not sure if I want to invest in Katana mags or not yet. I have several of those. I think they're worth getting into, in my opinion, just because look how little space this takes. Granted, these are only 15 round mags, but look how little space 10 mags takes up compared to my mag bag, which is not only twice as thick, but it's also significantly bulkier. So I think it's worth it, but it's really going to be up to you. They should have made rubber bumpers for them. Kind of weird without the orange piece. Yeah. I kind of agree. It would have been nice if they put like a clear rubber bumper on the bottom here. Just kind of like integrated, but that's a design change that would need a complete remold, and they're not going to do that. They have a 3D printed cover for this. It's kind of like a bumper, but in my opinion, it's super blocky. It's huge. It's weird. It's disgusting. So, and I don't like 3D printing. So, where did the Fallout streams go? Dude, I haven't done like a Fallout stream. Wow, that one's terrible. I haven't done a Fallout stream in like... I didn't do one yesterday, and that's it. So, they'll be here. I'm probably going to do one today, actually. So, don't drop test them, yeah. Do a drop test on them. Oh, no. I'm okay. I've heard these crack, so... and if they were polycarbonate, I these would be like stupid durable, so I don't really see it. Anyway, I never thought about that. Get the white lithium grease would get to the darts. Would these look good dyed? I'm not an expert at dyeing, so you would have to ask like Liberty Foam or someone who actually knows what they're doing. Look how bad that is. This is so freaking bad. Look at that. That's freaking ridiculous. Where's my Liberty Foam? I'm not sure where mine is. I might have to use this. That's fine. This is not regular WD-40, by the way. This is silicone WD-40, so don't freak out. For those of you who are like, it's the propellant in there that eats away at the plastic, you have no idea what you're talking about. Simply because I didn't get this for Nerf. I got this for cubing. I seriously doubt anyone knows what that is just from that. But like Rubik's Cubes, I used to be really heavily into that. So I know how to lubricate plastic, trust me. I'm okay. I've gotten some flack for using this stuff before, but trust me, I know a little bit about what I'm doing. Just gonna spray it on the this thing, and I'm now realizing that I already had one out, so I kind of look like an idiot. I had that one out. That's fine. Oh, freak out! Some people wrap them in tape and cover them, cover the massive hole in them, and that makes them a bit more grippy. I actually don't mind the hole down the side. Maybe that's just me. I guess it makes them a little bit flexible, but to me that's not really that big of a deal. I'm pretty careful with all my stuff, to be perfectly fair. I don't drop my mags. Okay, as of late I have been dropping my mags, but I don't like slam them down or anything. I'm pretty gentle with my stuff, and if I'm on particularly rough terrain, I won't drop them. I'd rather, you know, not do that. And if it's at like End War or something, there's no public game, there's no way I'm gonna do that. So that's just with that, that's 100 times better. So that's considered fixed. WD-40 So this is just how I'm going to lubricate mine. This lubricant should dry a little bit. But I wouldn't consider this dry lube. I'm not the best person to ask for mag lubrication advice. So, if you follow this, do so at your own risk. I'm kind of that stubborn guy who likes to figure things out himself. It's much better. And I'm just going to do all of them just for consistency's sake, because I don't know how long the lubricant on these are going to last on the good ones. So the clear looks so good though. If anything else, the clear looks so good. I use graphite powder. I know a lot of people use graphite powder. A lot of people like that. I'm not sure how it would look on the clear, but it should be fine on like the clear smoke. Should be. Orange Katana mags, you graphite lubricant, nice. Hydro dip Katana mags. That'd be pretty cool. It's interesting. I'm picking up dark debris, focused for a split second. I'm picking up dark debris on here, which is a little bit weird, a little bit concerning. You guys saw it for a second. Because these are brand new. I have not used them. They've never even seen a dart before. None of these have. Use dry lube for mags. Any liquid gets darts and does bad things and breaches. Air flywheels, mags, darts, slips. Yeah, I'm not terribly worried. I haven't had a problem so far, so. That's why I said, don't follow my instructions if you're not prepared. I've been told many times, I use dry lube. Eh. Can you overlube mags? Absolutely. That starts getting on your darts and stuff. Only lubricate what's necessary. Which is why I'm only doing the inside of these. I could lubricate the inside because there are these bumpers that prevent it from going this way on the inside, but it's not that big of a deal. They don't cause that much friction. It's mainly these riding rails here that are causing a lot of the friction, so those are the things that I lubricate. I don't bother lubricating everything. Which is probably why they don't get all over my darts. Because I'm just doing these rails. If you lubricate the entire thing, I could imagine how that would not go so well. For those of you who don't know the story of how these magazines came into existence, I'm being sarcastic here, but they are solely the reason of me. There was a paradox that I was completely aware of, and I think Ryan can attest to this. I think I told Ryan beforehand, but I definitely told my locals beforehand. There's a paradox where I was considering getting Katana mags for like 3 months, probably more than that. Long time. Wanted Katana mags. Very efficient tools. But I knew for a fact that if I ordered the orange ones, they would come out with clear immediately. Immediately. I knew that for a fact. But the paradox being, if I didn't order them, they would never have clear mags. So it was always like, do I sacrifice my money and give clear mags to everyone, or do I just be selfish and not? Eventually, I talked to my friend and said, when this eventually happens, when this inevitably happens, can you buy my mags from me? He said, sure. So supposedly he's gonna buy my mags soon. But, so he said, sure. So I went out and I ordered the Katana mags, the regular ones, the Gen 1s. And I shit you not. I shit you not. They came out. They were announced 3 days later. I promise. I swear. I swear they were. 3 days later, they were like, oh, we're making clear mags. So you're welcome. My wallet died for our sins. 10 to 50% of your streams. Shut up, Austin. I'm hoping I have new viewers. It's unlikely, but I'm hoping I have new viewers. I'm going to be the old guy telling the same old stories at all the parties. Sitting in the corner. Back in my day. But you do, man? Me do what? Have new people? Weren't they $15 for 2 mags a while back? No. The adapter and magazine is $15, I think, and then the 2 mags are $25. So I got 2 adapters with 2 mags, and then 4 of the 2-pack, which is 10 total, because I carry 9 on my person and 1 in my blaster. That's pretty standard for me. When you're on your deathbed, you'll be telling the story. I really will. Harsh, bro. Hawk has lots of tricks. Huh? No, I don't. You've seen me play Fallout. That directly correlates with my tricks in real life. To me, it's kind of expected that I would need to lubricate these mags just because they're not Nerf. It takes thousands and thousands of dollars of research to figure out, okay, how can we lubricate it's the little things, right? How can we lubricate these enough or design them in a way that they don't need lubricant to work at 99% capacity? That takes a lot of research, that takes a lot of knowledge, that takes very smart people and a lot of people brainstorming to be able to come up with stuff like that. That's why Nerf stuff tends to work better, is they just have more of a budget, they have more people to work on stuff than most people have. I think the only reason why Busby has gotten as far as they have is because they have incredibly smart people working for them. If you've ever seen live interactions with them, like the toy fairs and stuff, those guys are ridiculously smart. Every single person working at Busby knows exactly what they're talking about, and that's not really something Nerf has. They just have a lot of money and a lot of resources to hire a lot of people, that kind of thing. So, just my opinion, not facts, just kind of talking here. Takes a lot of smart people that we don't have. Even one really smart person, you get the smartest person in the world. If you're only listening to that one person's advice or that one person's thoughts, you're still not being very efficient. For instance, I'm pretty sure Chris Cartea was the brain behind Katana mags, which, to be fair, it's not that revolutionary of a concept. Hey, make a mag that fits. But, you know, credit to where credit's due. But I have a feeling they just listened to him and no one else, and that was kind of it. I feel like they could have made this so much better if they had talked to someone else who had it's not even Chris like didn't think of something or Jet cut something out because of cost or something. It's just Maybe just no one ever thought about it. Like rubber bumpers on here. Maybe just no one ever thought about it. And it's little things like that where you could have a really stupid guy walk up and say, shouldn't those have bumpers on the bottom? And then all of a sudden that triggers something else. It's just little things like that where you kind of need more people or enough people to make smart decisions for those kind of things. But, you know, it's all speculation, so. Have you ever tried a Caliburn? I got one recently. Upgrade kit near 400 FPS. Is the stupid high power really worth it in your opinion? Absolutely not. And here's why. Number one, if you're not willing to get shot with it, you shouldn't be shooting it. So unless you're willing to get shot with a 400 FPS blaster, I don't think you should be using it. Number two, what is the priming power on that? How much arm strength does that actually take to prime one of those things? Even a K26 will start weakening you rather quickly unless you've exercised enough for it. So generally, that's not really worth it because you can't really even use those things for that long. But it is absolutely up to you if that is something you want to do. I am not going to, different strokes, different folks. There's no wrong, there's no right here. So whatever you like. I have tried a Caliburn in person. Meh. I don't really like 3D printed. Caliburn has a very, very high failure rate. Probably close to 90%, I would say, from the reports that I've heard. In one way, shape, or form, I think about 90% of all Caliburns have failed one way or another. So I would expect it to fail. And as someone who values, what's the word I'm looking for? Reliability, sorry. As someone who values reliability as probably number one, I would say it's kind of a deal breaker. I hate it when you're around a lot of smart people. No matter how smart you are, you always feel stupid after a few weeks. I actually dropped mine from a K26 to a K25 and swapped the barrel to a longer one. So worker darts fit in here nicely. As expected, they fit in the other one. Go ahead and load up all 15 just for the sake of actually loading up all 15. And you don't need to bother counting. This can hold 16. You probably shouldn't. I don't. That's 15 right there. So when it has just a little bit of space at the bottom here where you can actually push it down a little bit more, and you can kind of fit one more, that's 15. So we have Alpha Snooper here, and I have fixed the issue down here where it was coming straight down. Looks great on the blaster. However, my whole setup, the line goes straight down for a little while, and it's kind of inconvenient. This doesn't look as nice, and it's actually cocked to one side, but it's incredibly comfortable when I'm actually using it, and that's kind of what's important. So got a Parker fitting. That's like a $45 fitting. But luckily, I got mine at an incredibly good price. Whoopsie. So got a 45-degree fitting on there. I have like two 45-degree fittings in here. Again, I got these fittings for a freaking steal. No pun intended. Steal. Haha. But so I have like two $45 fittings in here, and then another elbow fitting that was actually more expensive than the other two combined. Even though they're technically cheaper. Anyway, I'm rambling. And I'm pretty sure that is the weird one. And if I switch this, I can probably tell the difference. I'm assuming this is the good one. Yep. So I can feel that difference. The fact that I can feel that difference is going to bother me, so obviously I'm going to try to shave that down or something. Maybe I'll contact Jet. But I seriously doubt they're going to do anything, so why bother? Closes just fine. Opens just fine. Yep. I assume everything is going to shoot just fine. I'm not going to bother shooting Snooper right now. So yeah, really happy with these. This is basically what I wanted from the beginning, a clear Katana mag. And that's what we got. So these will obviously be more susceptible to things like dirt and grime, at the very least visually. But I don't really have any issues with clear mags right now, so I don't see that as being a terribly large issue for me personally. But that is something to consider. What might be a better option if you're super worried about dirt and grime is the smoke ones. Personally, I don't like these orange ones in the slightest, and I don't see any reason to get these anymore, aside from the fact that you would want a solid black one for whatever reason, adapter. But I think the smoke black would have a little bit, better visual appeal if you plan on getting them super dirty or whatever. Probably shouldn't, because you need to clean them anyway, but, if you can't help it, you can't help it. So, are there any more questions relating to these or anything else you want to see that I haven't done, that I haven't thought about? What's up? I still need to lubricate these, but I don't feel like taking these apart right now. It's up to you guys. You're in charge. And now with this clear adapter in Snooper, obviously I have to make clear parts for the Alpha Trooper. I mean, I can't just have this clear and have nothing else be clear on this, right? May I share 2 ideas with you after the stream? Go ahead and message me on Discord. What FPS does the HPA Snooper achieve? Somewhere around 230 last time I checked. Haven't checked it recently, but somewhere around 230. I'm not exactly pushing this thing for like the best performance ever. It needs a longer barrel. It needs a much longer barrel. Probably could use a tighter barrel. This one is just very reliable. I focus more on reliability on things than actual performance. So like if I'm so focused on reliability to the point if I get 20% less performance, but it's infinitely more reliable, I will take the reliability every single time. I would be hard pressed to pick performance over reliability. Because generally I don't run a secondary. One of the many reasons, but that's not the main reason, but one of the many. Would you ever consider making a huge Katana mag by means of extension just for main moon 300 clock? Not really, just because of how expensive these are, and I don't have the budget for that. And I think that's kind of ridiculous. I wish they would have a 20 round. I wish Worker would just rip off Jet already, because they ripped off everyone else. I've kind of called it from a long time ago, so if Worker comes out with these style magazines, I'm just letting you know. But I wish Worker would come out with 20 round mags like this, because I think 20 rounds is doable. I've had some people say that the 20 round mags are unreliable. I've never run into that issue, but are you gonna make clear parts or replace the orange barrel shroud, because that would be sweet? If it's orange, if it's orange plastic, I'll probably be casting it eventually. Maybe not the trigger. Maybe the trigger. I can't really promise anything or when it's going to be done, because my budget is super low right now, and I have way more important things to do than work on this thing. It works right now, and that's where I want it to be at. So no telling when, but I definitely do need to do these parts. Also, don't you use the Cursed Companion. I do not use Cursed Companion. I've used that blaster once. That is a showpiece. I'll check that out later, Austin. So we'll probably have a what's it called, Fallout stream later, but can't say when. How much would it cost to make said shroud? How much would it cost to initially make it, or to actually make the part? Because there's a difference. Like the initial investment for these is in the mold, and if I'm gonna hazard a guess right off the top of my head, probably around $200 for me. But after that, these get incredibly cheap to make, for me anyway. They're gonna be expensive for you, because I need to make that mold back up, make the money for the mold back up. I tried to jank, but I tried. That's not how you spell tried. I tried to jank, but they look okay, I guess. Hey, Noah, what's going on, man? We're approaching the end of the stream. We just kind of had a quick review. But if you have any questions about these, feel free to ask away. That mold is expensive. That's one of the cheaper ones, to be perfectly honest. What was expensive was molding the front of the Rapid Strike. Now that was freaking expensive. The big halves, those were freaking expensive. That took like 2 gallons of silicone. So what actually happened with Jet Blaster Explorer and X-Jet? I can't get my head around the whole dilemma. No, absolutely no idea. Absolutely no idea about the Singapore politics. The politics in America are bad enough, to be perfectly honest. But I mean, they look so sweet though. Can you imagine that? Freaking crystal clear parts on this guy. Oh my god. Oh, that's gonna look so good. That entire top shroud. Bro. Doesn't get much better than that. I want to put LEDs in this strip or something, and then fill that with resin. Not sure yet. I think adding both here and here would be a little too much, but maybe just right here, or even maybe just this one. I don't know. I haven't spent 100%. I would like to make these right here LEDs. I've wanted to do that since I've first had my original Alpha Trooper, which was the first blaster I've ever bought. But I'm not sure if there's enough room behind it. I'd prefer the reliability over, getting these to where I want them to. So, I'm not 100% sure if this is even possible. Maybe I can make some inlay, and then not actually cut into the blaster, but just make inlays for these. I don't know. It'd be nice. Was at work, just got off. What I missed? We were just doing reviews in the Katana mags. I'm making cast parts for Alpha Snooper eventually, but I don't really have the funds for that right now. It's probably going to take like $200 just for me to even get started, and then I have to find time for it, so kind of out of the way right now. Has anyone been in the gentleman's... What? I have no idea what you're saying. Oh, his junk. Why'd you say it like that? And what do you mean by an ejected mag? That doesn't make any sense. How good, bad are the magazines? Exactly the same. The ones that are about 70% of them needed lubrication. I've already lubricated them, but about 70% of them needed lubrication anyway, which means I had to relubricate everything anyway. These are much better, but I'm still not comfortable with them because they've kind of only been lubricated on the slide right here, not really the pivot point right here, or like the actual interaction piece right here. So it still feels a little mushy on the way back. But, so I'm going to have to open up everything. I'm going to have to open up these two and relubricate them anyway. I already relubricated all of the magazines anyway. So it's the exact same amount of work as these. So, same review. There was probably like 3 or 4 mags that were actually lubricated properly in this entire lot of 10. And they don't feel super brittle, so that's good. They're not acrylic, so that's good. Like, someone flicked a mag out of the blaster in such a way it hit someone else in the junk. Nope, I've never even seen that. What brand of lubricant do you use? For this one, I just used WD-40 silicone. This is not regular WD-40. Do not use regular WD-40 in your blasters. It will eat away at the plastic. But silicone is perfectly safe. A lot of people recommend that you use dry lube like graphite. I don't listen to them because I'm stupid, so I'm probably not the best person to take advice from in terms of lubricating your magazines. Do they freely drop out of the adapter when reloading? No, they completely drop out freely. Personally, I actually don't like that, but most people do, so. Can we burn a magazine to see if it's polycarbonate or not? Nope, if you want to pay for one. If you want to send me, the $15 plus shipping thing, then go ahead, but. Because this is about $15, and then shipping I think is like $6 or something, so if you want to send that to me, go ahead, but. Could I use lubricant like a plunger tube? Nope. You do not want to use that. You're thinking of white lithium grease. Don't use that. And also, less is more. If you end up using whatever, make sure it's in a place where it's not likely to get on your dart. For the Katana mags, I just lubricated these slides right here, and that's pretty much it. So, at the end of the day, happy with my purchase. Glad I got these. These are going to see a lot of love. I really like these magazines. They're freaking awesome. And I don't need them, but I really want to get more just to say I have more. But I'm really happy with them. But, if you're expecting more out of Jet than you've already gotten, then you're not going to get it. If you do end up getting one, I would like to keep the adapter, so give me another clear one. Just saying. If you're actually doing it. I have a feeling these are ABS. Transparent ABS. If it's ABS, it will droop, and it'll droop, and then it'll get completely rubbery, and then it'll just like go into a puddle before it ever starts boiling. If they are polycarbonate, it will start bubbling pretty much the same time it starts getting flexible. And I'm confident enough in saying that where if these turned out to be one way or another and JetBlasters contacted me directly and said, no, we were in touch with the manufacturer themselves and they said it's the other thing, I'm confident enough to tell them you need to go back and get your money back because it's not right. That's how confident I am with this. I can't tell you If it's not polycarbonate, I can't tell you what it is exactly. I'm assuming ABS. It's definitely not acrylic. Acrylic would snap. But I can tell you whether it's not polycarbonate or not. Whether it's polycarbonate or not, excuse me. Peace out, see you around. See you, Ryan. Thanks for stopping by. We're about to wrap up the stream anyway. Thanks for sticking around. Did you didn't get any of these, did you? But you need an adapter you already used too. But I need an adapter you already used too. Alright, whatever. It's up to you. I mean, if you're sending it to me, then it's whatever. It's gonna cost more shipping, but if that's what you want to do, it's yours. I freaking love Snooper, man. I'm very happy with the way this breach came out. I have a friend who does a lot of who has done a lot of sleeper breaches, and he said I did a good job on this one, so I'm pretty happy. Although I think I need to lubricate this one. As a matter of fact, I might as well just do that right now. Not a lot. Wonder if I should be concerned about that. There's enough flex in the shell where it misaligns the breech. It's not enough to like cause it from. It's not enough to like cause it from closing or anything, but I feel grinding somewhere that I haven't felt before, so I'm a little not concerned, but I'm a little worried here. A little bit of grinding right here. Not sure where that's coming from. I want a HPA. I want a Legion HPA, but with my 2 of my metal XPZ tanks. Sweet. It's the setup that costs a lot, so hopefully you can afford that. Whatever, it's fine. Oops, sorry. Just bumped the mic. Okay. I think that's it for all the questions. I think everybody's pretty tired of me by now. Can't afford it right now, but I can down the road. Sounds good. I think that's going to just about do it for this review. Thank you guys very much for watching. And for whatever reason, if you are watching this in the future and you have still watched this to the end, for whatever bizarre reason, thank you very much. That means a lot. In any case, thank you guys for watching. And end stream.